American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Authorities in Los Angeles say the son of Rob Reiner has been arrested and charged with the murder of the famous movie director and his wife. Criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor David Gelman says there's not a lot of information.
What we know so far is this was a gruesome murder of his two parents. Now, he's accused of it right now, so he hasn't been convicted of anything. But if we're reading correctly, what happened is definitely a result of potentially of drugs and a mental health issue that Nick has, and it's had it for a long time, it sounds like.
New details being revealed about the two suspects responsible for the terror attack during a Hanukkah celebration in Australia over the weekend. Greg Palcott reporting from London.
Officials now say the attack by a father and son was motivated by the ideology of the Islamic State terror group, or ISIS. They point to ISIS flags found in the shooter's car, along with improvised explosive devices. Also noted, an association the son had with a commander of a local Islamic State cell, and a recent trip by the shooters to an area of the Philippines known for ISIS activity, as Australians raise concerns about the rise in anti-Semitism in their country and ways people get around already strict gun laws. We now learn the father acquired legally 6 guns, several used in the massacre, just in the last 2 years. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
The potential terrorist attack on New Year's Eve is blocked as cops in Southern California arrest 4 alleged members of a radical anti-capitalism and anti-government terrorist organization. U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Isali, says the group got to the phase where they were testing bombs.
They think that peaceful protests are a problem. So they want to advocate violence. They're a very violent group. You could see it on their social media, and they were dead serious about this plot on New Year's Eve. There was an informant that was able to infiltrate this group, who was then able to introduce an undercover FBI agent. Once we were able to infiltrate the group, we could then see their messaging, because they were using encrypted messaging apps and other such things.
Police are restarting their search for the shooter who opened fire Saturday at Brown University in Rhode Island after they released a person of interest. FBI Special Agent in Charge Ted Dox.
$50,000 for information that can lead to the identification, the arrest, and the conviction of the individual responsible, who we believe to be armed and dangerous.
The trial continues in Wisconsin for a judge who obstructed federal immigration agents by helping illegal aliens escape a courthouse.
In opening statements in federal court in Milwaukee, prosecutors told jurors that Judge Hannah Dugan distracted ICE agents in April, then directed a Mexican national in her court on battery charges to a private hallway to exit the building away from agents armed with an arrest warrant. About 24 witnesses expected to testify in the week-long trial, including an FBI agent investigating the case who testified Monday that there's audio recordings from inside the courtroom in which Judge Dugan is heard saying, "I'll do it," in reference to helping the illegal immigrant escape. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The U.S. Department of Education now recognizes a university as a nonprofit. Chris Woodward has more.
Grand Canyon University, or GCU, began as a nonprofit, changed to a for-profit university for a time, and has since returned to nonprofit. The Department of Education took issue with the reversal, and that led to a lengthy legal battle between the department and GCU. University President Brian Mueller.
You know, it's been a long process, and it's been a completely and totally unnecessary process. It was a complete waste of time and money.
In November of 2024, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the Department of Education wrongly denied GCU's nonprofit status. After that ruling, a bipartisan group of 10 Arizona congressional members sent a letter of support urging the Department of Education to recognize GCU's historical nonprofit status. The Department of Education's new classification brings it into alignment with every other governmental and accrediting authority that previously affirmed GCU's nonprofit status, including the IRS, the state of Arizona, and the NCAA.
We are looking forward to the future and what we can do working cooperatively with the Department of Education going forward.
I'm Chris Woodward.
More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
Every day, AFA offers biblical insight on issues that others aren't willing to touch in the hopes that you'll become a world changer. That's why we're offering an in-depth worldview training course called Activate. 13 different professors teaching 18 sessions, all available online, including a printed workbook to help you apply what you've learned and 1-year access to AFA streaming content to give you even more resources. Find out more about Activate and sign up today at activate.afa.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network for this Tuesday, December the 16th, 2025. As always, we thank you for listening to AFR. Well, joining me in studio today is Ed Vitagliano. Good morning, Brother Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
And Fred Jackson.
Hi there, Tim.
And Chris Woodward.
Good morning.
So the four of us are going to do a cantata for you today, ladies and gentlemen, and you will enjoy it.
I might eat a cantata. Can you get salsa on that? Yeah. I'll have the chicken cantata.
A cantata.
I thought that was only at Easter.
The cantata is a fancy word for a choir singing a bunch of Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Huh? Have I got it right?
Yeah, I think that's right. The Christmas cantata.
Nobody wants to go hear that necessarily if you hear it all year long. But if you got a cantata going on,
yes,
sign me up.
That's right.
I want a cantata. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. Today at our offices is Ugly Sweater Day. Mm-hmm. We have a theme Monday through Friday here. The week before Christmas, people wear stuff. We have different things, different days. That's our HR department provides this. This festive attitude?
Oh,
right?
It is festive atmosphere.
So anyway, I don't always pay attention to these memos, but my wife.
She does.
She started reading my emails the other day, and she said, "Hey, you got Christmas week coming up. You need to participate. You need to show, your
Christmas
HR
spirit. Yeah,
your HR is planning all this. You need to participate." And so then she went online and began to order me a bunch of stuff to wear during Christmas week. And so here I am, for those watching on our streaming service, wearing my ugly sweater. It's ugly sweater.
Fortunately, my wife does not read my emails.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd be. I just wore a regular green sweater.
Yeah.
And this morning, Tim saw me in devotion, and he said, "Way to step up," or "bold choice," or something.
Yeah. Wow.
But now, I don't.
Just a regular green sweater.
I don't consider that an ugly sweater.
I know, but it's crazy.
That's pretty cool looking. I think
it's like now. What I'm wearing here is it's loud.
Yeah.
Right. It's a loud quote sweater. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a shirt.
Now, in our devotion, some of our staff, what they were wearing qualifies as ugly sweater.
About half the staff participate, and the other half bah humbug.
Yeah.
they don't participate at all. Like Fred wears that sweater every other week.
Every second day. Yeah.
Now, if I were to wear what I'm wearing right now in January, they would be thinking I escaped.
Yes. Escaped the cantata.
Some mental institution, probably. So.
Yeah,
anyway,
you can wear that once a year. That's it.
Somebody. If those watching on our streaming service, if people want to watch us on our streaming service, Ed, how do they do that?
Well, they can go to stream.afa.net.
Not Scream.
Not Scream. Stream.afa.net. That is AFA's streaming service. It's more than just watching live programming on American Family Radio. You can see all kinds of films and videos.
Cantatas.
Maybe a cantata or two thrown in there. Or you can go to our Facebook page, Today's Issues, or Today's Issues Live, I think, on YouTube. And you can watch, or you can go to afr.net on your computer. Mm-hmm. And you can watch the... I think you just listened to the live audio stream on
watch
AFR,
my
right?
shirt, too.
Yeah, just a live audio stream. But
watch my shirt.
Yeah, so it'd actually be stream.afa.net or our Facebook page or YouTube is the only way they can
Chris
see us.
Chris is rocking the gray over here.
Yeah, I had an ugly sweater, but I took it off for this show because I didn't want my compadres to feel underdressed.
Right.
But I will post a picture of it on our Facebook page.
Compadres, cantatas, we just speaking a lot of foreign languages here this morning.
I was going to say, I didn't know you were Spanish. Compadre.
You didn't either.
Feliz Navidad.
Have you ever checked out your family heritage You know what do they call those things?
Genealogy.
The genealogy website.
Gene
you ever
tree.
done this?
Gene tree. Yeah, actually, a
23 and
a great aunt wrote a book on the Jackson family. It was quite fascinating.
Really? What did she find out? Your
Well,
great aunt. So
Yes.
our aunt, as you say, so that would have been she wrote that in the mid 20th century, maybe, or late 20th century.
Thereabouts.
Okay,
maybe
go
a
ahead.
little later than
All
that.
right.
Anyway, she found, and we weren't really surprised by this, of Scottish and British influence in the Jackson family.
Yeah.
From my mother's side, the Mac side, she that
The
was an
cheese.
Beg pardon?
The in
No,
cheese.
the
not
McKin-
mac and
the Mc-
cheese.
Oh, my bad. I thought maybe you were talking about some people have
You know-
a Mac side, some people have it in cheese.
you know, like McKinnon's and all
I
of
got you.
that.
Oh, yeah, the Mac.
The McKinnons.
Yes.
They're all from Scotland or Ireland.
Yes, my grandfather on my mom's side actually spoke Gaelic, and
Oh, so that's the Irish or the original. That is
Irish.
Irish now, right?
shame on you.
Gaelic?
Gaelic is Scottish.
Scottish.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So what's the Irish version of it?
I have no idea.
Oh, I've been.
Celtic?
I don't know.
Why'd you start this if you didn't know? Fred was talking about his
My
family
life
heritage.
and welcome to
Wait,
it.
now yours is obvious. So you got you're Greek Italian, right?
Greek and Italian. But I've never done the Ancestry.com or anything like that. Frankly, I'm afraid to find out. I might be half Russian and half Nigerian and just didn't know it this whole time.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I have not. I have family members that have looked into that and they'll share findings with me, but I've never. done it myself.
Even though you're from Nova Scotia and I grew up in Mississippi, Fred, we're kindred spirits there because for the British Isles.
Oh yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
That's where our family's from.
Yep.
The British Isles there. As so many Americans trace their history back to probably 20-30% of the American public.
Yeah, and our Cajun friends in Louisiana goes back to the Acadians.
Acadians, yeah.
Came down from Canada, from
Yeah.
the east coast of Canada. Interesting background there.
Yeah. All right. Well, whatever your family heritage is, whatever criminals are in your path tree, we welcome you to listen to this program.
Now, I will say one thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll actually say two quick things
What?
because I know we've got someone waiting. But
You're
I
in
did
the
look up
wings.
that yes, Scottish is Gaelic. Irish is like Gaelic or something. It's pretty close, but Irish is the real way to refer to it. But my sisters did do. It wasn't like a deep dive on Ancestry.com. It's when you sent away for a study of where your name appears. And Vitagliano or Vitaliano, we can trace it all the way back. And this is actually what they found out to the child of a illegitimate child of a pope in the 1300s. That is,
Hey, man.
that is the absolute
That makes
truth.
you some kind of royalty.
Well,
I'm not sure what.
I'm not sure. I think I know what it means, but
I think it means somebody was disqualified to be a pope.
Who does the Pope confess sin to is what I want to know.
I don't know. If you know any Catholic folks,
Forgive me, Cardinal, for I have sinned. What'd you do, Pope? I had an illegitimate child. A child out of wedlock.
I named Anthony Vitaliano. May his ancestors be blessed. All right.
You know.
And that is
That's true story?
That's what my sisters told me.
All right.
I've been messing with me.
Well, all right. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. Before we jump into the stories of the day, we have a guest with us, as we do most Tuesdays, that he's available. Brother Frank Turek joins us from the Tar Heel State of North Carolina. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Tim. I think you need to go to confession for wearing that shirt.
Well, you know, I was walking down the hall coming to the studio, and one of our fellow employees said, "Hey, I love that shirt." And I'll go, "That's disappointing." because you're supposed to hate it because it's supposed to be a ugly sweater.
But it's not. That's why I said
know,
it's a black background and it's like neon Christmas trees and Christmas lights.
I just look like
presents.
I'm ready to go to Vegas. So am I right? Huh?
No.
No, I don't.
No,
Tunica maybe.
No, it's
Santa Claus, Indiana.
I don't think it's an ugly. I don't.
Okay.
It doesn't
It's
qualify
not.
as an
It's
ugly.
not ugly per se. It's just loud.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you ought to take it off,
Yeah.
don't wash it, put it in a box, wrap it up, and give it to
I
one of your
think if I
sons.
start taking this off, the FCC will call us and suspend our license. But anyway,
give it to one of your sons
all
as a
right.
white elephant gift.
Now, if we want to go down a rabbit trail, I have a pretty funny white elephant.
Tell it.
Okay.
Tell it.
So this is now by white elephant. I think you mean just like when a bunch of Christians get together.
I don't know why this has to be racial, but go ahead.
So this goes
White
way
elephant.
back to the mid '80s.
Yeah.
I was on staff at a church in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they had a Christmas party for the staff. And I was just a youth pastor and all that kind of thing. I was way down on the
Totem pole.
pretty good sized church.
Yeah.
So they said, don't even buy gifts. Just find something you get around your house and wrap it up. And
seriously?
Yes. And we're going to have where you don't know
This
who.
dirty Santa?
Well, it's I'm not
version?
sure. It's where you go and you just grab a present, but you don't know who put it up there under the tree. So I went into our garage and I found an old clock that had been in the kitchen, and I hadn't thrown it out. And it was pretty disgusting. So I told Diana that this will be funny. We'll wrap this up and put it under the tree. And so we're sitting around where at our table is the music minister and his wife, Rick and Lynn Myers. And so we all get our presents, sit down, start unwrapping. And Rick tells his wife, he says, "Look at this. Someone wrapped up a disgusting old clock." Everybody else had bought a present.
Yeah.
Everybody else had bought a present. We were the only ones who did as we were told, just wrap something up. And I didn't tell him. I've to this day have never told him.
You just didn't say anything.
I
You just lie about it.
Yeah, because I was looking at everyone else opening presents.
Right.
And it's, it was $10 gifts
Sure.
or something like that. Yeah. And then they opened that with the clock, and he was so upset. Someone just wrapped up your disgusting old clock.
And wrapped it up. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right.
Good times.
What are you doing?
You should have told him I just didn't have time to shop.
Man.
Didn't have time to shop. That doesn't fly anymore, though, when you got 364 days.
I think he's talking about the clock.
Oh, the clock.
Time.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I'm a little slow.
It's just because you're wearing that shirt. It's taking all the energy out of your brain.
Lowers my IQ 20 points. All right. So, well, by the way, what is Turek? Where does that come from?
It comes from Poland. There's a whole town and county called Turek in Poland. It means little buffalo.
Tureksville?
Turek. Look it up.
They got buffaloes
I got my own county.
in Poland.
It means what?
Little buffalo.
Little buffalo.
Like
I didn't know there were buffalo.
Well, they did like the Indians do here. Little bighorn, little buffalo.
But I didn't know there were buffalo in Europe. Turek, Poland, city in Greater Poland.
So he's
as if there's such a thing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Got his own town named after him.
It's a historic city in western Poland.
Yeah, and
situated on the Turek upland.
Oh wait
near
a
the Kilbaska River,
where the little buffalo roam.
In 1684, the Tureks were thrown out of Poland and sent to
for wearing loud Christmas shirts.
All right, we'll have to read more on that.
Was notably involved in pivotal moments of Polish history.
Wow.
I'm going to have to take a look at this, Frank, because you're involved in
Polish royalty
in pivotal moments in our history.
Hey, you know how many Polacks it takes to?
Oh, don't.
What?
I'm just listen. Don't. This shirt's just going to your head. You cannot tell a Polak joke on the air.
As Jasmine Crockett said, "Can I ask you a question?"
we did that in 5th grade, and nobody knew what we were doing wrong. Huh? How many Polacks does it? Is Polacks an offensive word? Is it really?
There's a what somebody call a negative stereotype that Polish people are less than.
To say that is that offensive? Is it really? Frank?
I have no idea, but can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can, please. All right, that's enough of that. But go ahead.
Why is it that whenever the sign or the screen comes up with my picture on it, it says host of I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an atheist.
Oh,
atheist.
Is it misspelled?
It's an AI theist. Am I an
all right, hold
an
on
artificial
just a
intelligent
We're
theist?
We're going to have to get this corrected.
Whose responsibility
I'm
is
looking
that?
at Brent right now. Brent Creeley, our producer. Brent, do you have an answer for this?
That on your paper it's spelled right. On video it's spelled wrong. I will check our video.
These video guys, I'm telling you, they're all wearing loud shirts, not paying attention.
All right, we'll get that corrected because Frank notices stuff like that.
No, what I was saying, I don't know whether Polak is offensive to Polish people, but you were about to tell a Polish joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, every ethnicity's got their jokes. The Polacks got some good ones. What I'm saying, there's some good ones. All right.
And not in a good way.
But you're only supposed to use it if you're of that ethnicity.
That's right.
Right. So you can only tell jokes on your own group.
Which I do.
I think that's acceptable, right? But you can't tell jokes on another group, and that's offensive.
Like, how can you tell the bride at an Italian wedding?
Okay, what?
She's the one with the braided armpits.
I did not need that.
Bad image.
That was gross.
Bad image.
That's a European thing.
Well,
bad image.
One of the reasons we left Europe.
All right, you as you frequently say, you better rein this in.
I know
because I've got more.
We got to move on. You save it for another day.
All
right, Dr. Frank Turek. We want to reset this show here. Dr. Frank Turek, a distinguished scholar from the Tar Heel state of North Carolina. Distinguished scholar and North Carolina, that does go together sometimes, and it does here. So, on a more serious note, by the way, Frank does host the radio program and podcast, I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. It airs live on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock Central Time, right here on this radio station you're listening to, American Family Radio, and then we re-air it on Sunday afternoons at 4 o'clock Central Time, right here on AFR. So, Frank, the topic today is conspiracy theories.
Yes.
I noticed yesterday where Candace Owen, the queen of conspiracy theories, she met with Erica Kirk.
Yes.
Wife of Charlie Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk, for 4.5 hours, according to one report. So my question is the topic of conspiracy theories, and talk about this, if you would.
Well, I think that as Christians, we have to make sure that when someone makes a charge, they better have evidence behind it, especially if you're charging somebody with being involved in a murder, which is what Candace Owens has been doing. I mean, she's been saying that TPUSA betrayed Charlie and all this. She has no evidence for this. She's just making claims, apparently to draw attention to herself. I don't know what her motives are, but you don't implicate people in a murder unless you really have strong evidence. And she doesn't have strong evidence. She has possibilities. Anything's possible, but not everything has evidence behind it. You know, the Bible talks about having at least 2 witnesses, right? Have you heard about any witnesses? No witnesses. The Bible talks about you don't slander. In fact, what are the words that are used to describe Satan, the accuser, the slanderer, the liar, the murderer? Check, 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 check. All those things have occurred in the Charlie Kirk situation. You have a murderer, you have a bunch of liars, you have slanderers, you have people who are accusing others without evidence. If you can't see this isn't spiritual warfare, I don't know what would show you that spiritual warfare is actually going on right now. All of these things are showing that people are not being reasonable. They are they want to hear things that they think is gonna scratch their itching ears, as the Apostle Paul said when he was talking about the people in the last days. It's 2 Timothy, his very last letter that he writes. He talks about how people are gonna get teachers around them to tell them what they want to hear. In fact, here's what he says in 2 Timothy 3. This is the very beginning of the chapter. He says, "Mark this. There will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power, have nothing to do with such people." I mean, this is what's going on with all these conspiracy theories. Now, I think the evidence is quite good that Tyler Robinson is the killer. Whether he acted alone or not, that remains to be seen. Whether other people know about it, were they involved? That's what a trial is for. And we're going to have on our program this weekend, Jay Warner Wallace, the cold case homicide detective whom I've had on before, to talk about how prosecutions are done. And they're done very deliberately. Candace Owens and others will say, well, why hasn't the FBI done this, or why hasn't the FBI done that? Hey, newsflash, the FBI isn't covering this particular murder. They're not the lead. The lead people are the folks in Utah. This is a state case. And whether the FBI or the state is involved, they do not reveal everything they're working on, because if they did, it would jeopardize their case. Their job is to convict the true murderer, not to quell ridiculous conspiracy theories that don't have evidence behind them. If they did that, they wouldn't get anywhere. What they need to do is gather the evidence and then present it at trial. If they start telling you what they're doing or what they have, that's going to jeopardize their trial. Why? First of all, it's going to taint a jury. Second of all, they're not going to know whether they're getting good testimony, because suppose they come out and they say, hey, we're looking for a second shooter. If somebody comes forth and says, oh, I saw the second shooter, they don't know whether that person really saw a second shooter, or that person is just trying to make a name for themselves by saying, oh, yeah, I saw the second shooter. And they're fabricating it so they can make a name for themselves. The prosecution has to hold all this close to the vest until the trial. And when the trial comes out and everything is released, I think we're going to see Tyler Robinson is the real killer. Whether or not he worked together or not, that remains to be seen, or he worked alone or not, that remains to be seen. But Candace Owens so far has said TPUSA is part of this, Mikey McCoy's a part of this, his father Rob McCoy's a part of this, Trump's a part of this, Mossad is a part of this, Israel's a part of this, Egypt's a part of this, France is a part of this. Gee, I thought France, all they did was surrender. I mean, how could they all be a part of this? It's impossible, which means most, if not all of what she's saying is completely bogus. Yet people eat it up. Well, they eat it up. Meanwhile, they're running down a grieving widow who full disclosure, is a friend of mine, because Charlie was a friend of mine. As you know, I was at the murder. It's ridiculous what's going on. Hopefully yesterday's meeting is going to stop all this nonsense, but that remains to be seen.
Hey, Frank, we just got 30 seconds. What would you say to Christians who are easily pulled into this kind of slanderous mindset? You got 30 seconds.
I would say that you are involved in spiritual warfare and you're advancing it. You need to pull away from this. You need to make sure that people have facts before they put accusations out there. It's slander.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we live in a who gets the most clicks world.
Yeah.
And truth, what's the old saying? A rumor flies around the world before truth
gets the shoes on.
Gets the shoes on.
Yep.
Or gets its dirty
pants on,
or it gets its ugly sweater, Christmas sweater on, or bright Christmas sweater. All right, Frank, thanks so much, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right, God bless you guys.
Take care. That's Dr. Frank Turek, whose family hails from Poland.
Turek, Poland.
Yeah, we'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn,
Don Wildmon.
Strange how God made the world, or not the actual creation, but the way in which He made us human beings. He implanted within all of us, the desire to love and to be loved, to appreciate and be appreciated. And some of the grandest moments of our lives are when we are reminded that we are loved and appreciated. Once I received in the mail a letter from a couple who live in Alamogordo, New Mexico. It was a rather short letter, probably taking the writer a couple of minutes to write. But the good it did me was measureless. May I share it with you? We'd like you to know, it began, how very much whatsoever things written by you and published in our Star Shopper means to us. We look forward to it each week and always enclose it in a letter to someone. May God continue to bless your work for Him. Well, a couple of days later, another small note came in the mail. This one was from Deltaville, Virginia. Using the title of one of my recent newspaper articles, the writer had written a single line which made me humble and thankful. Your articles, the writer wrote, stir up my hope. All of us have this desire, don't we? Every one of us appreciates appreciation. We like a little flattery occasionally, even if we know it isn't true. And when someone says something to us which compliments something we have done, it lifts our hearts beyond expression. Why we humans fail to use this wonderful power which costs nothing and buys everything is hard to understand. It has the power to heal our hurts, find us friends, and build up brotherhood. The world is waiting to open its doors to anyone who will live this way. To those who can find compliment instead of condemnation, to those who can find friends instead of fault, to those who look for the best instead of the bad, the world literally opens its doors and says, "Welcome." The person who can develop this way of living will never be in want, never go hungry, never be alone. People will absolutely stand at their door begging for their companionship. Now, where does one acquire this way of living? Why, from the Galilean, of course. For isn't it He who teaches us to look for the good? Isn't it He who causes us to forget our stinginess and selfishness? Isn't it He who teaches us to lose ourselves so that we may find ourselves? So I guess that if we are interested in finding life to be this way, we have to be willing to follow His way. Many of us are willing to take this approach when dealing with our friends. Few of us are willing to do it when we deal with our enemies. It's a real shame, too, for we could get rid of our enemies by living this way. Don't we get rid of our enemies when we make them our friends? It's true, little things mean a lot, especially expressed appreciation.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and He knows those who take refuge in Him. Nahum 1, verse 7.
American Family Radio. This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Issues is the name of the show. Tim, Ed, Fred, and Chris, just real quickly, maybe we should do a show on this sometime, but how the migration from Europe to the U.S., fascinating. I've read and read a lot on this, but the reason there are so many people of Scottish and Irish backgrounds, that's just mass immigration to where you grew up, Fred, Canada.
Yep.
And then also a lot of them, especially the Scots, they migrated down to the American South through like Charleston.
Yep.
The ports of Charleston, Savannah, and some other key places over on the eastern coast of the southeastern part of the United States, and then they started just migrating west.
Yeah, I had a bunch of relatives on my grandfather's father's side. They all migrated to New England, to Ed's area.
New England?
Boston
a lot
area.
of Irish influence there. The
Oh, yeah, a lot of Irish.
The potato famine.
Yes.
Just so many Irish. That was a real. I mean, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
The potato famine drove people to leave.
Right.
Ireland.
Yeah.
And the Irish came in one wave. They got settled in, the Boston area
Right.
and around there, and got good jobs in the police force, for example. So, so that's kind of one of the stereotype movie scenes with the Irish cop. And then the wave of Italians came. It's funny how things work, because the Irish were discriminated against when they got there, and then when they got settled in, they discriminated against the Italians.
Who came
after them. So that's human nature for you.
So we all discriminate against each other.
It's
sometime down through human
we
history.
tend to be clannish.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's right. Clannish or tribal.
Right.
All right. You're listening to today's issues. Chris, what's the first news story we're going to get to here?
Well, this one is on our website, afn.net. Australian police admit Bondi Beach massacre was inspired by the Islamic terrorist group. ISIS is the term many people are familiar with. And authorities, again, in Australia think the father and son that carried out this horrible shooting there at Bondi Beach in Australia were inspired by the Islamic terrorist group. Authorities say they found ISIS materials in a vehicle that the gunmen used. They also had traveled to the Philippines back in November, where there may be some sort of ISIS outfit there. And I've got a lot of audio here. Do you want to go ahead and do the Rabbi Goldstein?
Yeah, Sandy Rios, our good friend Sandy Rios, sent me about a 7-minute video this morning of the chief rabbi of South Africa. Warren Goldstein is his name. And he made some excellent points about the globalization of intifada. He says governments all over the world need to start taking this seriously. He said, and I'll just paraphrase and then we'll listen to a little bit of this. He said, Australia is just the latest example, and governments have to wake up. It's not just a saying. This is a serious, bold movement that's manifesting itself all over the world. So here's a little bit of that from the Chief Rabbi of South Africa, Warren Goldstein.
The mass murder terror attack in Sydney, Australia, was not simply an anti-Semitic incident that got out of control. It was a professional military operation conducted as part of the global jihadist war being waged on every continent. To plan an operation like this takes time and resources, which was only possible in an environment created by the Australian government that has been conducive to the development of radical Islamist infrastructure. An environment that indulges the demonization of Israel and Jews on the streets, that allows people to chant "Gas the Jews" on the Sydney Bridge, that tolerates and even endorses the genocidal slogan "From the river to the sea," a call for the extermination of all Israeli Jews. What happened in Sydney is what globalized the Intifada looks like in action, a jihad against the Jews. It is what happened in Manchester, where a terrorist attacked Jews at prayer on Yom Kippur. It is what happened in Amsterdam, where Israeli football fans were hunted down in the streets. And it can happen anywhere, to any Jewish community in the world, because globalize the Intifada means exactly that, hunting Jews everywhere. It is not a protest movement. It is not resistance. It is a jihad of murder, terror, and destruction. Like the original Intifadas launched against the Jews of Israel, the global version has nothing to do with a Palestinian state. It never has. If it were about a state, there would have been one in 1948, in 1967, in 2001, and many times since. The multi-front Islamist war from Iran to Gaza to Lebanon and Yemen is not about a Palestinian state. It is about jihad, the violent spread of a global Islamist movement whose sole purpose is the destruction of the Jewish state first, and then the West and the rest of the world. When Western leaders like this Australian Prime Minister and his counterparts in Europe, in response to the Gaza war, recognize a Palestinian state, they endanger themselves. They reward jihadi terror, and they make a lethal mistake, lethal to the survival of the free world, because the Jews are only the first target. The jihadists take aim at all infidels. Their slogan says it all. First the Saturday people, then the Sunday people.
I thought
I've never heard that expression. That last one.
Oh,
first
you
the
have
Saturday people,
Oh,
then
yeah.
the Sunday
I have,
people.
Yeah,
That
I've
has
never
been
heard that.
That has been around, and what they're referring to: first the Jews, then the Christians.
Yeah.
And when I heard this morning, I got thinking about the history of the last even 25, 30 years. 9/11. It wasn't just Jewish people they were after.
Right.
It was Americans, Jews, and Christians they were after. And what he is saying is that, and I thought about the protests that broke out on our campuses here in the United States in the wake of October 7, 2023. What were those young people around New York University and Harvard, what were they saying? From the river to the sea. So it's a mentality that has now been ingrained into the minds of even many young Americans. He is warning that you're going to have more of what happened in Sydney, because that is the ultimate goal. It is not just a political movement. I thought it was very interesting. He said it has nothing to do with a Palestinian state. What was he referring to there? Well, remember Yasser Arafat was basically offered a Palestinian state. They gave him 95% of whatever he demanded.
He was the head of the Palestinian Liberation Organization.
Yes.
This was Bill Clinton.
And he turned it down because that's not what they were after. They want to get rid of Israel.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate goal in all of this.
And by the way, that's why to this day, Hillary Clinton calls it right when she's talking about radical Islam.
Yeah.
Listen, they say, I wasn't alive prior to World War II, obviously, but they say, and historians note, that leaders in the West, even though they may have read Mein Kampf, which was Hitler's kind of testament, his beliefs and his goals, even though they read it, they didn't take it seriously. What he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Now, there might have been leaders who didn't read it, but it's a very, very thick book. Very difficult going. I've never been able to get all the way through it. But the point I'm making is there's nothing wrong with taking people at their word. And that is what this gentleman was trying to get across. And we were talking about in our story meeting this morning, my belief is I absolutely agree that what we are starting to see is the trickle, I think, before the dam breaks.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see not just an uptick in radical Muslim violence. I think we're going to start seeing this all over the world, and in this country, we're going to see this more and more because this is what they're after. This is a religion of conquest. It always has been. It wasn't a religion of conquest when the West became so powerful militarily that the Arab countries, for example, were locked into the Middle East. But when they discovered oil and started becoming wealthy because of it and began being able to fund these radical groups around the world, you are now seeing the true nature of Islam, not all Muslims, but the true message of Islam. And we'd better take them at their word because they hate Israel and they hate the West.
Yeah. All right. You're listening to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. What was how many people died there in that Australian killing?
At least 15. And the victims range in age from 10 to 87 years old.
I know we may have talked about this yesterday, but did you see the video of the man who took the gun away from the
He's Syrian Muslim.
assailant?
He's a Syrian Muslim.
Yeah,
Very courageous man.
He was a hero.
Yeah, he saved other lives.
He attacked this guy who had the rifle, managed to take that rifle away from him. or there would have been more killed.
You know, the other thing about these Islamic fanatics is that they're indiscriminate about the people they murder, but they're also discriminate at the same time. Let me explain. If this were a war being fought because the Israelis and the Gazans, the Arabs, the Palestinians who live in the Gaza Strip, and the war with Israel, you would take it out on the army of Israel, or maybe even inside Israel. But what these people, now this has been going on for a long time, decades and decades. I'm talking about this.
Well, since 1948.
Yeah. So, and before that, you mentioned Hitler and the persecution of the Jews has been going on a long time, even before that. But the modern day Arab v. Jew versus Jew war, in a broad general sense, has been going on a long time. But these people, like this guy that killed these Jews in Australia, he hates Jews. He doesn't just hate Israelis, okay, because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Right.
He hates Jews because they're Jews. Now, what's going to give rise to more violence against Jews, unfortunately, and sadly, tragically, I think, and I hope it doesn't happen like Fred's talking about, but the motivation for attacking Jews will be amped up around the world because especially the Muslim extremists are going to say, we need to take revenge against the Jews who are killing children in Gaza. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we've talked about all these videos that have been made, many of them by AI that are not even true. They're phony, they're fake, but they look real. Against the accusing the Israelis of intentionally murdering women and children in Gaza, for example. So I don't know. We live in a very dangerous time.
Right.
If you're a Jew and you feel like you're being hunted.
Yeah. Hamas, I believe, knew how Israel would respond to October 7, 2023. They knew it. And that was just fine with them.
Well, they had a pretty good track record.
Yes.
No.
You mean they knew that Israel
would respond heavily?
Right.
They knew that. Not only Hamas, but Hezbollah and Lebanon. Remember Netanyahu saying, we have to be ready on all kinds of fronts because we know what's going to happen now. They thought Israel would go heavily against Hamas. That's why Hezbollah opened fire as well. That's why Iran, we saw in Yemen, all of these forces thought by Israel going heavily after Hamas would be weakened, so they would attack them from Lebanon and they would attack them from Yemen.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer to this, but I don't think that Hamas, you're saying they knew what was going to happen. I don't know if they counted the cost or if they even cared about what was going to happen to their.
I think you hit it. They didn't care.
Okay, to their fellow citizens, because Israel turned Gaza into rubble.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, it's into rubble now. It's squalor. It's nowhere they're going to have something happen over there and to get.
I think both what you guys are both saying, you, Tim, and Fred, I think are both true at the same time. I don't think they expected for Gaza to be turned into rubble. That's certainly, I don't think, what they wanted. But I think they didn't think it was going to happen because, to Fred's point, and I said this after the attack, I think that I think they believed they were going to trigger a wider war against Israel so that Israel would not just focus on them. I think they expected. You remember Hezbollah had thousands of rockets aimed at Israel.
Israel repelled them
and obliterated a lot of their.
Remember those cell phones that Israel had blow up?
I don't think those groups were expecting Israel to do what Israel did.
Right.
But I think they thought that Iran would get involved. Maybe they could drag Egypt and maybe even Saudi
Listen.
Arabia into it, and so that they could crush Israel once and for all. I don't think they expected what they got, which was devastation.
All right, you're listening to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tragic situation in Australia with all these Jews dead. They were just trying to celebrate Hanukkah on a beach.
Mm-hmm.
It's summertime in Australia now, where it flips. When we're in winter, they're in summer. When we're in summer, they're in winter.
Right.
What's your next story?
Well,
what about the Rob Reiner story?
Yeah, I mean, I was okay. We can do that.
Let's do that one.
Let me find it on my list here. All right, so authorities in L.A. say the son of Rob Reiner has been arrested and charged with the murder of Reiner and his wife. And I've got some audio here from a criminal defense attorney who's also a Fox News contributor. His name is David Gelman, and says there's really not a lot of information out there other than what Fox News and some other people have said. Clip 9.
Now, what we know so far is this was a gruesome murder of his two parents. Now, he's accused of it right now, so he hasn't been convicted of anything. But if we're reading correctly, what happened is definitely a result of potentially of drugs and a mental health issue that Nick has, and it's had it for a long time, it sounds like.
Yeah, I read about this. Again, their son is alleged to have murdered them, but it's almost certain that he did. And his son, this son was in his mid-30s, I think, and he was a drug addict for years, a serious hardcore drug addict for years. Which probably led to some mental problems too, if he didn't have them naturally. And he had gotten into this shouting match with his parents, Rob Reiner and his wife. I don't know his wife's name.
Michelle.
At a party they had gone to. Conan O'Brien, the comedian, he held a party, holiday/Christmas party, and the Reiners were in attendance, and they got into a heated argument. The dad, Rob Reiner, and his son. What was his son's name? Nick.
Nick.
And so it was so bad that it was disturbing the party. And I think they had to leave or something of that nature. But it was later that night that he went in to his parents' home. If he didn't live there, I don't know what the situation was exactly. And I'll just warn people right now who have small children, they don't need to listen to what I'm about to say, but he slit their throats. And that's when they were saying it's a gruesome scene. And then they bled out, and he also did some other stabbings. But then their daughter found them.
Right.
Their daughter found them, and immediately when they called the police, said that my brother should. This is what I read now in the New York Post and other places. My brother should be considered a prime suspect because of what happened preceding here. And then Billy Crystal, the comedian, and movie actor. He and his wife went over there and had to see the scene.
These are all pretty close friends.
Yeah, Yeah, it was a celebrity part of L.A. that people lived in. That these high profile.
Same neighborhood as O.J. Simpson's.
Yeah, Brentwood, the Brentwood area. But it just terribly sad. And for anybody, Rob Reiner's politics aside, for anybody who. We all know families who've had to deal with kids or family members who have drug addictions or are mentally ill in some way, and it's just like wears you out. Okay, we've seen this happen with families and people. We all know this, right?
It swallows up people's lives.
Yeah. And especially he had been, I think he'd been in drug rehab 17 times or something. This kid, and he wasn't a kid now. He was a man, a grown man. He's in his 30s. But I'm talking about going back to his teenage years. So it's just a tragic story to read. The whole, how they had, as I said, in and out of rehabs, and it was exhausting to read what they had been through with him, with their son. But anyway.
You know, we were talking about Charlie Kirk earlier in the show with Frank Turek, and one of the things, there's actually a connection between Rob Reiner and Charlie Kirk, because back when Charlie was shot and killed, Rob Reiner went on social media, like some people, many people in fact, and said how awful it was. He felt really bad for Charlie's family, that kind of thing. Many people said, Reiner said of Charlie's assassination, I unfortunately saw the video of it. It's beyond belief what happened to him. He also stated that what happened to Kirk should never happen to anybody, regardless of their political leanings. I've posted this on our Facebook page because many people are saying, you know, like you, I don't agree with Rob Reiner's politics, but that was a very classy thing for him to say. And it really shows that even though we may have our political differences, we're still human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, and Rob Reiner was very gracious after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Even though Rob Reiner's far lefty, he wasn't far lefty in his politics, but he said, "I believe in the teachings of Jesus and forgiveness," and he was very gracious after Charlie Kirk's assassination. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Next story, Chris.
Well, we're going to be following up on this later today on AFN, so stay with our website and the radio side of things for some sound on this, because we're trying to get some reaction. The Attorney General of Texas is suing the makers of different televisions because Ken Paxton says...
My television?
I don't know about your specific television, but Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, says they're spying on Texans and secretly recording what they watch in their homes through a technology called Automated Content Recognition, which is ACR if you spell it out. The 5 companies named in the lawsuits are big-name companies: Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, if I said that correctly, TCL Technology Group Corporation. A couple of these are Chinese companies.
So what are we talking about here? So the AG of Texas, Paxton, who's running for the Senate, by the way.
He is, yes.
As on the Republican side, he is suing these television manufacturers that you mentioned because, Fred, what's going on here? They
have put some software in these televisions, Samsung and others, put some software that basically records what you're interested in, the kinds of programs that you're interested in.
You mean like what web browsers do, so they can target you with ads?
That's right. That's it exactly. And Paxton says that's an infringement on your privacy.
And they do what he's saying. He's accusing them of doing this without informing the customer that when you buy this is going to happen.
That is correct. That is correct.
I'll say this. I think we are going to need some kind of congressional action, too, on this, because everybody knows when you use products, when you you register a TV, let's say, after you buy it, for the warranty purposes, or you use an app, or you use this thing or that thing, you always get the do you agree with our rules and regulations? First of all, nobody has time to read all that, and nobody understands it anyway. It's a lot of legalese. Everyone clicks, I agree. All right. And I think Congress is going to have to pass some sort of law that requires these companies to spell out in simplified form what they do behind the scenes. Because people can't understand this stuff. And that's going to go for these televisions as well. They should not be allowed to spy on people. Good grief, this is bizarre.
No.
They take photos.
Are they watching you through the TV?
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't put that past them. But they are recording what you watch, and then sending that information to companies that now send you ads and I guess have files on the American people. And I'm just telling you, I don't go for it, Tim. This needs to stop.
All right. Well, you Italians are known to be able to do something about it. So,
that's right. We Italians, along with the Polacks, right?
Sleep with the fishes. I don't know, man. Red, we got any inside jokes on our own people?
No, we're straight up.
British Isles?
Our own people?
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the people from the British Isles.
We're boring.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Teenage years can be a time of trial. It can be really difficult, but it can also be the most fun and the best years of your parenting.
Dr. Jessica Peck is a pediatric nurse practitioner as well as a professor, author, and mother of 4. Dr. Peck is host of the Dr. Nurse Mama Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Central, and find her podcast at afr.net.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Authorities have released 3 new videos of a man they believe is responsible for the shooting at Brown University that killed 2 students and injured 9. Officials said yesterday they are also seeking the public's help in finding him. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to his identification. Accused killer Luigi Mangione is back in a New York City court today as his defense team works to get evidence tossed, including a gun that was found in his backpack. Eric Shawn has the latest from New York City.
On Friday, Altoona Police Detective Sergeant Eric Houston testified that when Mangione was caught, he was cold and wet, apparently from sleeping outside, and he was strip searched. Mangione's defense is trying to show that Altoona police violated his rights by seizing his possessions, including the gun, because they did not have a search warrant. That search warrant was granted hours later. Houston said the purpose was to legally transfer what Altoona cops found to the NYPD for its murder investigation of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, who was shot in New York 5 days earlier. But defense attorney Karen Agnifilo tried to show that the Altoona police could only use what they took from Mangione for their case, the charge of having a fake driver's license.
Australia's federal police commissioner has confirmed that a mass shooting at Sydney's Bondi Beach was a terrorist attack inspired by the Islamic State group. The attack during a Hanukkah celebration left 15 people dead. Authorities have identified the suspects as a father and son. The father was killed. The son is hospitalized. An upcoming Supreme Court decision could shape the future of President Trump's trade agenda. The nation's highest court is considering whether to block the president from using a 1977 law called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to set tariffs on other countries. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he expects a decision in early January and calls it a national security issue.
The way President Trump has been able to use his IEEPA powers for national security, if the Supreme Court goes the other way, it will be a loss for the American people.
The delayed jobs report for November is out with a fresh read on the economy. Edward Lawrence has more from the White House.
The feeling here at the White House is that it's a private sector that's really growing the job market here and creating jobs. And that's what we're seeing in this report. Again, the federal government actually lost 271,000 jobs since January of 2025, mostly from deferral payments and whatnot. What really jumped out in this report, though, is the unemployment rate, 4.6%. The last time it was that was September of 2021. The White House pointing to that. When you dig into this report, revisions stand out. We did not see the October jobs report. So this shows September, 119,000 jobs created, revised down to 108,000 jobs. But look at the revisions for August, down 22,000 jobs. That means in August, the economy lost 26,000 jobs, showing a very soft summer jobs market.
And finally, a middle school in Maryland reportedly taught 6th graders that, quote, a person's gender is who they feel that they are.
Westland Middle School in Bethesda, Maryland celebrated Transgender Awareness Week with a lesson for 6th graders. It included a slideshow that gave advice for coming out and 8 tips for being non-binary. Trey Dillinger is Senior Legal Fellow with AFA Action.
This is very tragic that children are being taught falsehoods in school. The very concept of an education is to teach kids the truth. And at the very heart of this gender ideology is that there's no objective truth, and every person gets to decide for themselves who they are, even down to the level of the reality of their sexuality.
Which, he said, we know is in conflict with both biology and science.
And any person that follows the Christian worldview knows that, as Jesus says in Matthew chapter 18, anyone who misleads a child, it would be better for that person to have a millstone tied around their neck and to be thrown into the depths of the sea. We have a duty as adults to teach children the truth. You as a parent have a federal right to be notified of any curriculum that your child is being taught. And so you need to be vigilant, to be on top of what is going on in your schools, because sadly many school districts do not comply with that. If any curriculum instruction in the school violates your religious beliefs, you have a right to opt out of that instruction.
I'm Bronson Woodruff.
For American Family News, I'm Mr. Pugh.
The Hannah's Heart Conference 2026 is January 30th and 31st at Hope Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. Women struggling through the pain and loneliness of a miscarriage or infertility are invited to experience God's love through the teaching of Jane Johnson and the worship led by Phil King. December 12th through the 19th, you can get a 50% early bird discount when you register at afr.net/HHC2026. afr.net/HHC2026.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's Issues on American Family Radio. We got 24 and a half more minutes of this show. Thanks for listening to AFR. I'm Tim with Ed and Fred. And joining us now, Steve Paisley Jordahl.
Good morning, everybody. I'm wearing my Christmas blue. Isn't blue a Christmas color?
It's plaid. You're Steve Plaid Jordan today.
Yeah, but isn't blue? I tried to do the ugly Christmas thing, but I think I failed because it's blue and a little bit of red.
Well, first of all, that's not a sweater.
No,
like me, I'm not really wearing quote a sweater.
I just can't.
Yeah, but we're all
well.
trying to participate, right, in the holiday spirit around
right,
here.
Exactly.
So, like many businesses, our staff sent out here's what we're doing every day this week, and so I got a surprise tomorrow, by the way. You wait till I show up to work tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow, though.
Well,
take a picture.
You'll have to video. I will.
You can watch the show. It streams, you know.
Yeah, you can watch us, Ed. You can watch the show.
I'm on vacation.
Okay.
I won't be watching the show.
Oh, man.
Well, that's disappointing.
Do you watch the show when you're on vacation?
No, I don't. Well, no, it's either.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah. Well, you don't either, right? We don't watch each other when we're on vacay. All right, so Steve,
Yes,
good morning to you, brother.
Good morning.
So what's your first story?
You want some good news?
I want some good news.
I do too.
Why don't we start with some happy, okay? Because there's been enough misery in the world over the last 48 to 36 hours, 48 to 50 or 60. Anyway, let's talk about
do an average there.
An average of 48. There's been a lot of misery lately. Let's just say that. I want to talk about a wire-haired dachshund mix called Chaco. Chaco was adopted by a lady named Patricia Orozco. I'm sorry. And Patricia Orozco, she lives in Sacramento. She got this little
That's your old stomping ground area, isn't it? Not too far?
Not too far from my old stomping ground.
Yeah.
But being in the middle of the valley, I could see why Orozco ran away, and which is what happened. She lost Orozco. She lost Chaco. Chaco had been disappeared, and she thought about him every day. She missed old Chaco, did Patricia Orozco.
So the dog, a lady in Sacramento, just to follow the story, had a dog named Chaco. It was a what?
Named Bingo.
A wire-hair dachshund mix.
A wire-hair
dachshund.
Dachshund. So it goes missing.
And
she thinks it's lost forever.
Right. I mean, she got it from a local shelter in 2016 and
rescue dog.
And so she got a call though from the company that had located her the chip in this dog had been found, and it was in Lincoln. She thought
Lincoln what?
Well, she thought Lincoln, California, because there is a Lincoln, California. It's about 2 hours away from Sacramento. But this dog was found in Lincoln, Michigan.
How far away?
That's some 2,300 miles. And the dog was they found the dog was chained to a wire fence, a chain link fence. And they rescued it and scanned it. And they found that it was her missing dog, Chaco. They called her.
Wow.
At first, she assumed it was found in Lincoln, California, about 30 miles from Sacramento. It wasn't until the end of the call she realized that somehow it had ended up all the way across the country.
From California to Michigan, and how many years was that?
I think it had been gone for almost
5, right?
Yeah,
5 years.
5 years.
What, it had just gotten a wild hair kind of thing and hopped a train or something, like a hobo?
It must
I
have.
wonder how in the world it got to Michigan.
Well, I doubt it was one of the greatest journey type things. It probably was.
Like a Disney animated movie?
Yeah.
Homeward Bound?
You know, a lot of people are leaving California.
I know. The
Even the dogs are trying to get away from Newsom.
The dog got tired of taxes. The taxes.
That was a good one, Fred.
But that is a great story that she got her dog back. She wanted the dog back, right?
5 years.
She thought about him the whole time.
5 years this dog went missing, and she thinks it. 5 years you give up probably, and then these chip things changed everything.
Yeah.
I think the lesson we learned from this is getting a chip implanted is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Is that what you're saying, Steve?
Count the cost.
Just make sure that you know where the dog is when the Antichrist appears. Because I think the dog might be on the Antichrist side.
If they say to you, sir, your dog number 666, can we put the chip implant in? I would skip that.
Yeah, maybe.
I would say, no, don't put that in my dog.
Right.
Any other numbers? Fine, though.
Now, was this a little old lady kind of thing?
No.
She's
She's 29 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she had 2 kids in the meantime. Since the dog disappeared, she got married, or I don't know if she was married when the dog disappeared, but she had in her house, she had a 4-month-old, 2 young children, including a 4-month-old. She wasn't sure if Chaco was going to get along with them. I think it went fine.
Chaco
weighs about 15 pounds and took
That's
to
a pretty
the family.
big. It was a dachshund, right?
It was a dachshund.
Yeah.
That's a wiener dog?
Yeah, dachshunds can get pretty big. 15 pounds is not a small dachshund.
He's sagging in the middle.
Yes, my dad. I don't know. I guess because I'm getting ready to go on vacation, I'm just telling story after story.
Leave it for us to clean up.
Yes. So we had a dachshund. My first dog growing up was a dachshund.
Yeah.
We had Poochie for about 11 years. And yes, the kids named the dog Poochie. So 2 things. My dad, who was pretty mischievous, he one time, my mom had gone shopping, so Dad and Ed were in charge.
Oh yeah.
And my dad said, "I want to see how much this dog will eat." And so he opened up one can after another. He opened up like 2 cans and was about to, and Poochie just, you put it down.
You open up a can?
You open up a can, and he would eat it. And so my dad was about to open the 3rd one. I said, "Don't. This dog's going to die." I was in high school. And
you were saving your dog from your dad. You were the adult in the room.
I said, "Mom's going to come home, and this dog's going to be dead." But Poochie, he was an overeater, and that was back when we would give him people food pretty often.
Right.
Terrible diet. My dad got one of those old roller skates.
Yeah.
Just the ones that you used to put on the bottom of your shoe.
Had the key.
Oh, yeah.
And he put it underneath the dog because he was starting to sag. He was dragging across the floor so that he could kind of get around a little bit.
I had a dog growing up, too, when I was in high school. His name was Geppetto. It was a dachshund. And
Geppetto.
Ornery.
I'm a real boy.
Ornery dog. An ornery dog. Oh, that dog could, and if he didn't, yeah. Just strong-willed.
Anyway, that's a good news story.
Yeah,
it
5,000 miles. 5 years. This dog.
2,300 miles.
This dog's missing. We don't know all the details, but the chip. The dog went to a vet somewhere in Michigan, and it learned that way it was discovered that its owner lived in California, and they called her. Can you imagine her on the other end of the phone when the vet's office is saying, "We found your dog,
Chaco."
Yeah. Well, we found Chaco.
We found Chaco.
And
CHACO.
OCO.
All right, next story. What'd you say? You doing the bingo? You doing the bingo song to Chaco?
Yes, I am. CHACO.
OCO. CHOCO. Chaco. Chocolate. Like
Chaco.
CHOCO.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Time to move on.
Okay. There is going to be an IPO of SpaceX.
Like Chaco?
Next year.
See, you keep saying, let's
let's
get it together, and then you just
you're right.
Throw another wrench in.
Elon Musk is going to put the biggest IPO in the history of IPOs by far on the market. He is going, and the New York Post reports that he's going to be hearing pitches from bankers who want to back this IPO. It is going to be a $1.5 trillion valuation.
Tell people who don't know what an IPO is.
Initial public offering. It's when a company that is privately owned, that it goes and is listed on the on a stock exchange. In other words, the public
can buy stock.
You can buy stock in it. So
okay, gotcha.
So SpaceX, which has to this point been privately owned by Musk and certain investors with him, now will be public. You will be able to buy stock in SpaceX. And
when is that? When does that start?
2026 is when he's expected to.
I'm going for it.
Well,
I missed out on Walmart.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good one.
This one you might want to get this one because I think people are missing the point. The very last line in this New York Post article, it's the last paragraph. Musk also signaled that SpaceX would look into building data centers in orbit in order to backstop his artificial intelligence plans. As you know, Elon Musk owns ChatGPT on OpenAI. And here's what we don't know. He is outfitting his space giants, his space rockets, to take AI infrastructure into orbit.
You know where you got that idea?
Did you give it to him?
Star Trek.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm planning on the same thing. Taking my rockets into space and go ahead, Steve. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, that's okay. He is, as we read here, he is going to put AI data centers in space. Now, why is that important? Because the thing that everybody is worried about with AI is power. It is going to, the U.S. generates 490 gigawatts of total power every year. AI is projected to need 123 of those gigawatts by 2035. That's a quarter of the entire electrical grid just for artificial intelligence. Your electric bill is going to suffer because a lot of this is going to AI. And companies like Google and everything, they're thinking about building private, power plants and nuclear plants.
Data centers is what they call them.
Well, they're building data centers, but they're also building power centers, like nuclear power centers to power these things.
Because our current electrical grid is not sufficient to power all these AI centers.
AI is going to need 123 gigawatts of energy by 2035, they say. That's a quarter of all the energy we put out as a nation. Well, if you put these things in space, each satellite gets 24/7 solar power. There's no clouds, no night, no weather, no disruptions. The Starships can deliver 300 to 500 gigawatts of solar-powered AI satellites into orbit every year, which means AI, the total 300 gigawatts per year, the AI computing power in space would exceed the entire U.S. economy's total electricity consumption within 2 years. So he is going to own. He's not just putting AI in space. He is going to. It's not a rocket company, SpaceX. It's an infrastructure layer for the next 50 years of computing, and Elon is going to own it. Huh. Other companies are starting to see that they're behind. They're 3 years behind the race. Google just launched Project Suncatcher, which plans to deploy AI in space. Blue Origin has announced they're building their own orbital data centers, but they're all 3 years behind Elon. And in tech, 3 years is forever. Huh. Everybody's going to be coming to Elon for the energy it takes to do AI. So Elon is going to control artificial intelligence.
It's brilliant. It really is.
Brilliant.
It really is.
Well, that is, because I have been reading that, and when we say these AI centers and artificial intelligence is going to soak up energy, when you think about it, folks, AI like ChatGPT, but also the expanded versions of these, they have millions of computations per millisecond or whatever the number
incredible
is.
Amount.
Incredible. And when you think about your own laptop, for example, or your own computer, when it's doing a lot of computing, how it heats up and needs to be cooled down, you have that aspect too. You have to cool these centers down. It's an enormous drain on the grid. So Elon Musk, I got to hand it to him. That brain of his is always thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, he will at least lead in this. I think other companies can catch up, and there can be some competition. But this is brilliant. Just a kind of a brilliant way of going around the problem of the energy needs.
He is going to own the infrastructure for computing for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be a trillionaire probably in a couple of years too.
The first
ever trillionaire.
He is the richest man in Earth in the world, $600 billion at this point, and he's closer to $1 trillion than he is to the second place person.
How did he has? I haven't read his whole story, Elon Musk, but is he like 45? How old is he?
He's
42, 43, something like that.
But we're going to get that from
from AI?
Brent before I can look it up.
He was born in 71.
Oh, he's 50. He's 54. Anyway, he's done a masterful job, to say the least, of parlaying.
Mm-hmm.
By that I mean he's built one company, then he uses that to build two more. He uses that to build 5 more that are all successful.
You know, he was the leader behind PayPal.
I think that's where he started.
Yeah.
After he came to the U.S. from South Africa.
I mean, he bought Twitter. Okay.
He bought Twitter,
I don't know if that's making him any money, but it was hugely influential in the 2024 election and in politics right now.
He's patriotic.
Yeah.
He's very patriotic. And
hates communism.
He hates communism, and he sees what's going on with these secular progressives.
But now he is not a Christian. He does have some odd ideas about transhumanism, for example.
What is that?
Combining human beings with robotics and AI and kind of sci-fi kind of weirdness. But
Occupy Mars.
Yeah, he kind of, yes.
Yeah, he wants to
Occupy Mars.
That's he wears that T-shirt. Occupy
Oh, does
Mars.
he really?
Yeah.
That's an odd but brilliant man. That's funny.
So
Occupy Mars.
Here's what he's involved with SpaceX, as we know. Tesla is his company. XAI, which is his AI company. Neuralink, which is implanting chips into people's brains. The Boring Company, which is very successful at doing subway tunnels under cities. He formerly owned PayPal, Zip2, Solar City, OpenAI. He's no longer involved with that, but he did. So
he also opened up a chain of taco stores.
Taco stores.
Yeah, that's just fascinating. Elon.
Elon. You heard of the Elon taco?
Choco Taco? You never heard of that?
Choco Taco.
No, I'm making
that. That goes back to
I'm
Choco
making
the
that
dog.
Up. You know, yesterday you told a couple Whoppers and I believed it, and now right back at you.
You got me back.
Yeah.
You got me back.
These Occupy Mars T-shirts are cool looking. I'm just going to say.
He really, that's one of his goals.
Well, you know, he did that. Elon Musk is continuing to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he was, he was hitting the pocketbook over his association with the Doge. And trying to help Trump there. And his Tesla sales went down for a while. I don't know if they're still down or not.
$600 billion he's worth. That's more than twice what I'm worth.
Wow.
Yeah, more than twice.
As I say, I think he's made his house note. Don't you?
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's made his mortgage.
He didn't have to worry about.
He didn't have to get a 50-year mortgage.
Right. He doesn't have to worry when the price of eggs goes up or.
Nah.
Yeah.
He's anyway. Go ahead, Steve.
But that's capitalism.
Yeah.
He is a living proof of what you can do in this world if you're a genius 3 times over.
Yeah.
But if you have good ideas, you can.
Now, he's not a big believer in. He's a big believer in that we're underpopulated.
Yeah.
And he's doing his part.
Yes. Yes.
To populate the world.
Boy, is he.
Right?
Yeah.
How many children does he have?
I don't know. Or
multiple women.
How many moms?
Well, about as many moms as children, I think.
He's not into traditional family values in that sense. Although he does have some good ideas. He does understand importance of Christian values. I mean,
yes.
So I mean, I don't want to discredit. I'm not discrediting everything about him. I'm just saying he does have some gaps there.
Yeah. No, I think he's so far has been a force for good in our country.
I do too.
And but I do want to just make it clear that hey, you need to pray for his salvation.
Yeah. Amen.
He has some interesting ways of naming his kids. He has fathered 14 children.
14.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's like.
I didn't realize
with four different women.
It's like a patriarch.
Yeah.
but it's Old Testament stuff, like multiple wives.
A tent and several trains.
What do you call that when you have multiple wives?
Polygamy?
Yeah, that.
But I mean,
but
he's not married.
Not at the same time. Some of them he has children with. He hasn't been married to. I think.
Is he married to any of them?
Yeah, I believe he's married to Vivian Wilson. Legally changed her name to Musk.
I don't
this
think
is his
he's
children.
married right now.
14 kids.
14
wow.
kids.
14 kids. Yeah.
One of his kids is named X, the letter X, because it has a bunch of symbols in his name as well that I don't know how to pronounce, and no one knows how to pronounce, so he calls him X.
He's very opposed to the transgendered movement.
Yes.
He calls it a mind virus, the leftist mind virus, and he's got one of his kids that is in that movement, and he's...
Because of the mother of the child.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, so...
All right. President Trump has been in the name game again.
Please don't tell me again today.
Well, no, on Monday. Yesterday,
Tim.
He's signed an executive order classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which gives him a little more legal push to prosecute the war against drugs.
Wrong. Shouldn't do that. Am I the only one?
Well, no, since you started.
No, I didn't want to interrupt
Again, it's one of those with Trump. It's like, yeah, that's good, Trump. No, that's not good. So you go, I appreciate his war on drugs.
Yeah.
He's fighting it, and he cares about Americans.
He wants to win
and he wants to win it. I appreciate all that. Fentanyl is not ammunition. It's not a weapon of mass destruction. If you want to call it a chemical or a drug of mass destruction, that's fine. But it sounds like to me Trump's wanting to designate fentanyl like
like a biological, chemical, or nuclear weapons.
Right. Right. For the purposes of going to war with Venezuela.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Well, that's what it looks like. That because all this has been going on over fentanyl. Now, I said in our story meeting, I can't prove this. I do wonder whether the fentanyl coming into our country, because I think some of the initial ingredients for making it come from China. And so sometimes I go, all right, it's a communist country. You can't trust communists. The ideology is evil. So could the communist Chinese be hoping to undermine our culture with these drugs that's coming through enemy nations, at least being run by people who are enemies of the United States, Maduro and Venezuela? So I certainly understand the idea that fentanyl is not just cocaine coming into the country. Maybe it's an attempt to undermine us, but it's not a weapon of mass destruction. And if he is classifying it as that, as a reason to go to war, I too think that's wrong. I think if we go to war with Venezuela, that needs to be a congressional action, and it needs to be explained to the American people why we need to do that. I do not want American boots on the ground in Venezuela. Anyway, and it sounds like I'm being critical of Trump. Trump does 9 things good. One thing I disagree with. That doesn't make me anti-Trump. I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so don't email me.
He says that Trump says that drug flows are, quote, a direct military threat to the United States of America. thus he designates fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. I think we can talk about that later.
You guys talk about that tomorrow.
At another day while you're gone? Yeah. You're going to be watching the show tomorrow?
I will not, sir.
Okay. There you go. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us.